What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my only review of the Belle Collective. The Bells have returned. They're back for a whole new season. According to Carlos, we're getting a much longer season. We're gonna get more storylines, more conversations. We shall see. We got all the ladies in their confessional talking about, did you miss us? The bad bitch is here. And what is going on in the collective? The collective is divided. It is divided because of the problems between Latrice and Lateshia. And Latrice is blocking every part of Lateshia out of her life, blocking her from social media, blocking her from her existence, and blocking her from out of her life. And I'm on the same time that she's on, because I feel like Lateshia has never been a real friend to Latrice. So speaking of Lateshia, we are at a studio where Lateshia is shooting her pilot for her talk show, the Lateshia Pearson Show. This has been a vision of hers for years. It's now come to fruition. And I'm not one to knock down somebody else's dreams or anything of that nature. But Lateshia, what is it that you want to do? You presented us with Fair Street. You didn't do anything with that. You call yourself the queen of brunches. I haven't seen you host any brunches. You made brunch plates. Are you selling different season brunch plates? Then you relaunch the Women of the World brunch tour. Have there been a tour? And now a talk show. Are you going to stick with it? And as far as the talk show, you know, there have been a lot of talk shows getting canceled. Lots of people do podcasts, and lots of people don't sit and watch. They walk around and listen. And hey, do you, okay? And we also meet one of her very good friends, Shantae. She's known her for a very long time, since middle school. And apparently Shantae wants to be more involved in her brand. To me, this is a segue of, I brought somebody onto the show that knows me, that's going to fight for me, that's going to get to some shit that I don't want to get into. I brought my guard dog. That's exactly the type of energy I got from watching Shantae on this episode. So her first guest is Tisha from Love and Marriage Huntsville. You know, we got both Tishas in the house, and how she's navigating being a CEO, a mother, a wife, all that and then some. Asking her simple questions about, how do you manage being a wife, being a mom, being an entrepreneur? How do you navigate sisterhood? All that and then some. And then they also talk about both of their husbands being the breadwinner. And that they kind of both connect on the fact that when they both got married, they received allowances from their husbands. And they also received advice that you should always have a golden egg stashed somewhere if it doesn't work out with your husband. And that was pretty much a wrap of the pilot. So then they just kiki, and she lets her know what's really been going on in her relationship with Glenn. And excuse me, it hasn't been good. He has not shown any support in wanting her to do this talk show. No shocker there. And since she's been with him since she was 17, she really has no identity other than being with him. And she really can't do anything for herself without putting Glenn's information in. So, telling us the truth, that they presented this fake united front last season just to save face and hoping that they could be in a better place. Turns out they're not. They're in the exact same place they was probably back in season 1. And she is trying to find a way to become more financially independent. She doesn't want to be dependent upon him. She wants her own financial stability. It is never too late for you to do that, Lateshia. You have been a part of this show since the beginning. This was your idea to have. So I don't understand how you don't have a nest egg, how you don't have any money stashed away. You do all this preaching of support and encouragement for other women to be their own bosses, for them to step out on faith, be them, be true to themselves, and you're not doing that. You're not practicing what you're preaching. You're afraid of living on your own because you're too busy being up under Glenn. And, you know, her telling us last season that when she first left him, she had nothing but $4 to her name. So, okay, you coming back, you figuring it out. Okay, you need to figure it out and make a decision. So, moving on from there, we got Marie Monroe. We see her walk into her empty office looking fabulous, finger waves on fleek, and her daughter Zuri is there. She said her daughter comes to the office at least twice a week to help her with administrative duties. Taking out old policies, putting in new policies. I think that's kind of cool, giving her a learning experience and what to do in the office. And asking her daughter, asking her daughter, how has she been doing? Because she saw that she was a bit frustrated the night before. And she said it was because of Paisley Cedric. He popped up at her practice and did not call. And Marie Monroe decides to tell us that her and Cedric are not together anymore. Shocker there. She presented to tell the story to Zuri that, your dad made it clear he wanted his family back. And I wanted him back too. But I also made it clear I have zero tolerance of him dating other women. If we're together, we're together. Come to find out, Paisley Cedric did not clear up any situations before he got completely involved with Marie again. He was in constant communication with an ex throughout their time of being together. She's surprised that she saw this coming, and she's going on about how she saw emails, text messages, all that, and then some. And she's also asking her daughter, how does she feel? She said, I think it's very selfish of him. And, Marie's looking all sad and disheveled about how can I have gone through this again? How could I have went through another stage of infidelity? But I wouldn't call it infidelity. Y'all weren't married. Y'all were divorced. Y'all were reconnecting again. And I have spoken about this last season. I did not believe that Cedric and Marie were together for real, for real. I thought it was just for a storyline. And here it is again, her saying that her and Cedric aren't together anymore because he was cheating. It's like, okay, Marie, now what? What's going to be your storyline this season? I appreciate her being honest with her daughter about what's been going on with her father, because she has to have seen the way her father has treated her mother from the time that she was born, when they first divorced and everything. So I think it was very real of Marie to tell her daughter what was going on. Her daughter is a teenager, so she should know how her father has been treating her mother and what she shouldn't want when she gets older and she gets into a relationship and want no man to treat her like this. So I give Marie props for that. But I'm not giving Marie props believing that she was in this relationship with Cedric, which I don't think it really was a relationship. But anyway, whatever, Marie. Moving on. We got Carrie. So Carrie and Matt have been looking for locations to celebrate her 44th birthday. And since she's been spending so much time in Jackson, she wants to celebrate with her friends from Jackson and from back home. And there was this cute little cafe she started to think about, but she changed her mind. And the theme of her birthday is Love Jones. Okay, one of the most iconic movies of the 90s. I love that movie. And she figured this space could work, but there was another place in mind that she would like to check out. So who's on the guest list? She says everybody, including their mates. And knowing that there's drama between two particular ladies, which are Lateshia and Latrice. And she says she don't like being in the middle. And she wants to see them reconcile. And Matt was like, I think that this birthday party can take your mind off of other things that's been stressing you out. And what's been stressing her out is her restaurant, Brick and Spoon, particularly the mobile location. They opened it up, but the economy has been working in their favor. It hasn't been a good moment. And, she's trying to create a whole chain of Brick and Spoons, but this one location isn't working. It's an ugly truth that she got to deal with, and she is just having all kind of stress, and she wants Matt to kind of take some of that stress off of her. And I feel for Carrie. I mean, listen, opening up a restaurant is a very risky decision to do, and if the economy isn't working, it's going to be hard to navigate a successful return. And folks are picky about what they want to eat, and there's a lot of places that does the same thing, but it's the ambiance, it's the vibe. And I don't know if she planned the right time for the mobile location, but I hope she figures it out before she has to close it down. And as far as her being in the middle between Latrice and Lateshia, I don't know if you are in the middle, because I feel like you're just now creating some kind of relationship with Latrice. I don't think you have a relationship with Lateshia, so you're not in the middle. I think that you should just be neutral. Treat them like they've been treating you. You know what I'm saying? Be open, be nice, be fair. Don't try to pick a side. Don't act like, oh my God, I don't know which way to go. Don't do that. Just be you. That's all you gotta do. Moving on. We see Lateshia. So Lateshia is meeting up with Glenn, and they're going to meet one of their good friends, Mr. Steve. He's like a godfather and a counselor for them, and he's known them for about 20 years. And, Mr. Steve is like a combination of T.D. Jakes and David Mann. That's what I got, right? So talking to him is supposed to give them more clarity on figuring out how they can move past this awkward space. So Glenn talks about how he don't feel like he's a priority when it comes to Tisha. And he's talking about how Miss Independent wants to show back up. And as soon as he made that jab, the counselor was like, so why did you have to say that? Why is it so wrong for her to be independent? And Lateshia talked about, whenever I show more love to myself, it's making him feel like I love him less. When all I want is to establish who I am as a person. and gain more opportunities. What is wrong with that? And there isn't wrong with that. Glenn is just an ain't shit ass man. He's a misogynist. Okay, he's a clown. He's a child, and he feels like there's no in between. It's never gonna work. Who says that? There is a way for a woman to learn to love herself that doesn't have any effect about how much she loves you. Because I feel like Lateshia don't love herself with how much she has dealt with your bullshit for all these years. She's not happy with herself. So what makes you think she can love you more than she loves herself? She can't. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. And the counselor was like, you guys are at a standstill. If you guys can talk about what it is y'all want, y'all not gonna move forward. Glenn wants Lateshia to go back to how she used to be. Like, he is in the traditional man mindset where she's at the house all day, every day. Do you not know your wife? Do you know how your wife has been up and running since she started this show? Your wife is not the type to want to sit at home, cook glory greens, and feed you all day. That's not going to work. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And what exactly do you need for her to be home all day for? It's not for your son. Your son is damn near a preteen. He don't need no supervision. I just feel like you want to keep her stuck in the house where she don't have access to social media, where nobody is keeping her in the loop about what it is that you're doing. Because let's not get it twisted. Now that you're not working on a tugboat longer than you used to work, you're now working at the office, working a 9 to 5, you can be more present being on camera because you love this reality TV shit. But you don't want her to benefit from it. You want to benefit from it, and you want her to be dependent on you benefiting from it. That is not going to work over here, sir. No, 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 no. So Glenn can tell that the way that she's moving, she's trying to set it up so she can leave. Good. I'm happy you're realizing that. So what you gonna do about it? Because if you're not giving her a reason that she can stay with you, where you can learn to love who she is and who she is maturing and evolving to be, then why is she staying? Make it make sense. So you're trying to hold over her head how much money you bring in and how less money she brings in? Yeah, that's gonna get old real fast though, sir. So she won't have room to leave yet, but she's making her way. So you're going to have to learn how to adapt. But they had to cut the session short because they got to get their son off the bus. And the producer asked her in her confessional, does she want to be married? She said, I know it's time to move on, but I just don't know. I just don't know. What don't you know? Nothing has gotten better. Hell, you've forgiven him for what happened with Mandy, but right now, you're more concerned about whether or not you want to stay with him. Why do you want to stay with him? What has he done for you in all these years of you being married to him? What? He has brought nothing but humiliation and embarrassment. Girl. And I feel like she probably isn't financially stable to leave yet, but I don't know why she feels stuck with him. Like, listen, I understand there is a soul tie of being with someone for a long period of time. This was the first man she's ever loved since she was 17 years old, and this is the father of her child. I get all of that. But if you can't see past that and look at the shit he brought, look at the shit he put you through and want more for yourself, I don't know what else to tell you. There are more men out there that can give you the world and not treat you the way that he has been treating you. I'm telling you right now, Lateshia, okay? Get your money up. Get your weight up. Come on now. Step your cookies up. Let's stop playing. All right, moving on. So then we got Latrice and Cliff. They're headed their way to their restaurant. They're going to have a staff meeting. They had new management. They've hired more responsible people. So Latrice wants to talk about why the women aren't wearing red lipstick. That is the color she wants them to wear. Why aren't they wearing their uniforms? Because every time she sees the girls wearing some type of clothes, she sees nothing but booty cheeks out. So apparently the uniforms that she has them wearing are ugly. I don't know what kind of uniforms you have them wearing, because when I see the girls behind the bar, I'm seeing some type of corset and some type of ruffly shorts. What is the vision and the vibe you going for? Make it simple and plain. I don't know, cute tops with the name on the logo. Like, I don't know what you're doing. But anyway, that is the design. That's the style that she wants. They should understand and recognize it. So as far as what's been going on with the restaurant, how are things with the group? She got invited into Carrie's birthday party, but she's hesitant on who's coming. Cliff mentions that what's going on between Lateshia and Latrice has affected his relationship with Glenn. I'm with Latrice. Fuck your relationship with Glenn. He's never been a real friend. He's just like his wife, and I don't disagree. And the reason why Latrice was so mad at Glenn, because Glenn blamed everything on Latrice about what happened between him and Mandy. He blamed everything about what happened between him and Antoinette. He blamed everything about Letitia finding out about he probably fathered a child in their marriage. Everything that he's done, he's blamed Latrice for telling Letitia. I ain't got time for it. But Cliff, he is in a rock and a hard place. Of course, he's gonna choose his wife because that is his wife, but he wants him to clear the air. She said, "We don't need to. We good. I'm just here for Carrie. They can stay on their side. We can stay on our side." But apparently, while they were sitting, Latrice's leg was throbbing. And Cliff was like, "First of all, I don't know why you wearing heels when you know your leg has not been feeling better." So we find out she has had blood clots. And she also had to have emergency surgery. And I know that was the most scariest thing she ever experienced. So her leg was extremely swollen. She ended up going to the ER where they found blood clots that came from her knee, traveled to her groin, ended up in her lungs. She ended up staying in the hospital for 4 days. And she don't know when or where blood clots start to form. You never know. Blood clots are like sneaky, not parasites, but they're just like things in your body that you never know could cause a lot of harm inside of you until you find out what is the source of the problem. And since Latrice works so much, I don't know if she's ever fully taken a break. I don't know if she's ever had a massage where she can like let go of that pain, ease that tension, ease that stress. So take care of yourself, Latrice. Stop wearing heels. I know you want to look cute, but you got to worry about your health. Your health is important, all right? So moving on from there, we got Letitia. She is preparing to head over to Carrie's birthday. She invited Marie and Shantae over to have a little hangout before they go to the event. Glenn is at work, but he's going to make it to the event later. So when it came down to Carrie's event, Letitia asked if she could have a +1. So she said yes, but apparently she hasn't asked Shantae until the last minute. Now, since the theme is Love Jones, it's very 90s theme. So Shantae came with the shade about Carrie calling herself Whitley Gilbert. Now, we all know. Everybody laughed at Carrie calling herself Whitley Gilbert. This is timeless classic, all that kind of stuff. But it felt a bit off-putting hearing from Shantae shade Carrie in that way because, first of all, who are you? You're an outsider. Why are you talking about Carrie in that way? Again, it's reading off. Letitia has been giving her information about who is on the cast and who's a part of the show and who she should go after or who she should, make little quibs about. That's what I'm getting. I didn't find that funny. So Marie came by and they were going through all kind of outfits that I don't think matched the theme. So when it came down to, Marie and how she feeling about going to the party, she said, "I'm going to make sure I'm going to eat food and not order." Yeah, don't do that rude shit you did last season. So asking her, how are Letitia and Glenn? Are they in a good place or a better place? She said, "It's the same thing. It's been draining and I don't want to be in that space anymore." But you can forgive him for cheating on you, but you cannot move forward with him not recognizing you're a totally different person. You're trying to elevate. You want to show more love and more confidence in yourself. That is a sign that you have nothing else to give in this relationship, Letitia. But I feel like you're stuck with the history. You're stuck with not wanting to be alone. That's how I feel. And we get to Marie, wondering what's been going on between her and Cedric. Is Cedric coming to the party? And she tells her that Cedric and her aren't together anymore. And then it was a flashback with Letitia in the car with Marie on FaceTime wearing a beanie, boo-hoo and sobbing because she wasn't ready to talk. And then she said when she found out that he was cheating, she was looking at her daughter's homework and Cedric's email was still open. And his ex was on there and she saw all of their conversations. Is that how it happened, Marie? You just happened to go to your daughter's homework account and you saw Cedric's email open? No, you went and started to search through Cedric's email and you saw he was still communicating with his ex. You look and you see shall find. Look and ye shall find. You found what you was looking for and now you have to deal with what you was looking for, which is Cedric cheating on you, so you had to make a decision. Don't act like it was just popping out of nowhere. I don't think Cedric was that sloppy to have his emails available for you to find out. No, you went snooping. And she said he pretended to get back together with her and pretended to only love her and only her, and that he never cut off communication with an ex. I need more of communication. I need more. Like, have there been times we haven't seen him for days? Have there been social media pictures? Like, I need more confirmation he was messing around with an ex other than emails. I need more. I'm sorry. Latisha, she gonna say, I'm so disappointed in you, Cedric. I don't ever want to see you again. All lies and bullshit. Both you and Marie have allowed these men to come back into y'all lives by any means necessary. Y'all still navigate to be around them no matter what. So both y'all can miss me. Y'all both bring back toxic men that y'all don't want to be with. I cannot. Anyway, so they headed over to Carrie's party. She chose a place called The Height. It had like the eclectic style that she liked. So we see Selena and Mike pull up. They pulled up in a whole different 90s vibe with the bamboo earrings and stuff. And you know, Selena has been very busy. She's been spending time with her grandchildren. She has a beautiful family. She spends time with Mike on the weekends, and you know, he works her through the week. She is planning her wedding and her 50th birthday. Nothing much with Tambra. All right, she looks gorgeous in her confessional. Her daughter, London Simone, is 2 years old. She looks just like Damon. And wondering where does her daughter get her little attitude? Maybe from Damon's side of the family. Excuse me, that's it, that's all. So Carrie came out in her outfit like she wanted to, you know, visualize Nia Long with the hair and the outfit and everything. And I feel like her bob was not full enough. It did need to be flipped. The outfit was cute, but then Shantae stole her look. She wore the exact same outfit, and I feel like she kind of had more of a identical look to Nia Long than she did. She had the whole hat and everything. The aesthetic gave Love Jones, right? So everybody really did not understand the concept of 90s theme. Especially Latrice. She came in looking fabulous, by the way, in this bubblegum pink negligee with a fur coat. It was giving Madam, was giving Dynasty, very Diane Carroll-ish. I was like, girl, this is the 1970s. What decade you got going on here? So everybody has arrived, and Carrie brings out this poet that is going to talk about a few things about Carrie, and Marie and Letitia ends up walking late while he was doing his poetry. And I was here for the shade that Latrice gave them. She's like, it's no surprise that both Marie and Letitia both came in without men. You know, Marie runs every man off whenever she can, and Letitia and Glendale, they separate every 2 days, so there's no surprise to me. Feel here for it all the way, okay? So when Glenn walks in, he really wants to see how Letitia's feeling, like check her temperature because of their counseling session, how they have been, you know, treating each other. And they acting real funny. She's acting like she's never seen him in a while. Like, hey, how you doing, sir? What's going on? It's like, girl, why you acting fake? It's like you don't know who this man is. I'm with Carrie. Like, what's going on here? Y'all together? Y'all not together? What's going on here? So now the guys are all together. Latrice made it known to Cliff that he should not say nothing but hi and bye to Glenn. Don't hang out with him. Don't say nothing to him. Keep it pushing. I can understand how Latrice feels when it comes to Glenn, because Glenn spent all last season blaming Latrice on what he was doing in his relationship that got exposed, right? And how he practically blamed both her and Cliff about what transpired between him and Amanda. Like, it's their fault that you got exposed by Amanda. No, it was your fault that you decided to cross that line and get involved with Latrice's friend. Like, please. So when Cliff and Glenn, they have a conversation. They haven't hung out in a while. Cliff is like, listen, I'm catching the heat that you should be getting because my wife don't want me talking to you of the way you blamed us for trying to break up your marriage. And Glenn said, well, you hurt me based off the things that were done in your house. And Amanda blew up the spot. But again, Glenn, that was not Cliff's control. That was out of his control. He had nothing to do with that. There was no telling what was going to happen. You're mad that Amanda blew up the spot because some shit you had going on? And you can't blame Cliff about what he didn't know and what he couldn't control. Nobody could. You spent that entire time blaming everybody but yourself with the way you acted when you got exposed. Like, get the fuck out of here. So, Latrice has been keeping an eye out on Cliff that entire night, and she don't like him speaking to him longer than she wants him to. So, she's like, listen, let me holler at you. No. Let me holler at you. Let's go. So now she's ready to leave because she didn't want him spending no more time with Glenn. And Cliff was like, listen, I got to go where my wife go. I said I do. I didn't say I didn't. And When they were getting ready to leave, Latisha and Glenn were like, "What's going on?" I don't know. I was talking to Cliff, seeing how we were doing, and then Latrice pretty much brought him out. She didn't want him talking to me. What, for real? Yeah, for real. So Carrie and Tamara was trying to convince her not to leave. And this is another thing I gotta say. Latrice, you look impressed. I don't know why you would allow for this to kind of get you out of your funk to leave the party. You said as long as they stay on opposite side of the room, you cool. I get you on wanting to be on that same time and energy with your husband. If I don't like somebody, you don't like somebody. I don't think that their friendship would have bothered you, but I do understand the way that Glenn blames you and him for what went down in his relationship. Where it's kind of like y'all were never real friends, and I really never believed that Glenn and Cliff were real friends. I felt like it was a mentor mentee, uncle and nephew kind of situation where Cliff was teaching Glenn the ropes about how to navigate his relationship to work his way. And the one time where Cliff was trying to hold Glenn accountable for the way he acted, Glenn didn't like it because Glenn wanted Cliff to. Glenn pretty wanted. Glenn pretty much wanted Cliff to help him cover up the bullshit. Make sure he looks good. Make everybody else be the problem and him not be the problem. Yeah, that's not a real friend. A real friend gonna hold you accountable. So I understand that Latisha exists no more in her world, but you running away from something like this, it's making you look like you have more of a problem than they do, when all you gotta do is stand your ground and not let them see you sweat. So they were all sitting at another table, and I think Marie asked Carrie what was going on, and she said, "I wish I had something to talk about. I ain't got nothing going on." And then Carrie asked Marie, "Where is Cedric? Is he coming or not?" Marie was being tight-lipped about not talking about Cedric, about what's been going on in their relationship. And she said, "Listen, I'm not ready to get into that tonight. These ladies are on a need-to-know basis whenever I'm ready for them to need to know, and they're not on a need-to-know right now." And Carrie was like, "Listen, give it to me straight. Don't give me the runaround. Are y'all together? Y'all not together?" So all Marie did was say, "I pray that I find somebody that wants to be around me, that wants to be with me." All that Carrie got, y'all not together. Marie plus nobody equals single. She is correct, but Marie and Carrie, I don't know if y'all gonna ever become friends for real with the way y'all have been coming at each other since last season. Carrie, Marie really don't like you like that. And I know you trying to be funny, trying to have like one of those quick kind of banters with her, but she really don't see it for you. And I don't think you have that right to expect for her to reveal everything about her life. But in vice versa, Marie, you can't be all up in other people's business and don't want nobody in yours. So anyway, that was it. So apparently when the poet was there, everybody had the opportunity to write their own poems on a typewriter. So Mike did his poem. It was a cute poem. Then Glenn did his poem, and then it was dead silence. After he did his poem, he asked a question: does Latisha still loves him? Now everybody's looking at her and it's like, "Girl, you're not gonna say you do? Why won't you say it? Girl, say it. Say it. Say it." And for me, it's like, why y'all trying to push this lady on saying something she don't believe? And you know what, Marie? I can never understand where you are when it comes to whether or not you want them to be together or not together. When you know exactly firsthand about how Glenn has treated Latisha, and yet you're here trying to cape for him and also be like, "Girl, say you love him. Say you love him." Girl, what? That is not a friend. Don't try to force me into feeling something that I don't feel right now. And even Carrie was like, "Girl, you went through public humiliation yourself and you want to give it back to him?" Absolutely. Absolutely. I do think that Latisha wants to give Glenn a taste of his own medicine of always putting her into some shit where she has to be embarrassed and humiliated for. But it left on a cliffhanger on whether or not she's going to say she loves him too. So, excuse me, we shall see. I'm excited for what this new season is going to occur. I did see a sneak peek on this upcoming episode. Shantae thinks she can question Latrice about how she's treated Latisha, and why didn't she come correct with wanting to tell her how she felt? Why did she do it that way? First of all, no ma'am, not your place. But in that same trailer for the upcoming episode, Latisha did check Shantae about, "Girl, don't." Latisha was like, "Don't question her for me. I didn't ask you to do that. I'm not expecting for you to do that. I will question her when I want to question her. I got it. I appreciate it, but I got it. Don't step into that shit. That ain't got nothing to do with you, all right?" So we shall see how that's gonna unfold. But y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video. And I'm see you guys later. Bye.